I now call the Iberia Parish Council meeting to order for March 23rd, 2022. The current time now is 6 o'clock. We'll have the prayer led by Councilman Trahan and the pledge led by Councilman Landry. Councilman Trahan?
Dear Heavenly Father, as we come here today to do the parish business in a godly manner and in your way that benefits the parish, dear Lord. Give us traveling grace as we travel out throughout the week, dear Lord, each and every one of us that's in here, dear Lord. And we pray for health and wellness, dear Lord. And we just pray for the vets, dear Lord, as they deal with what they have to deal in our armed forces, dear Lord, and the war with Russia, dear Lord, that you make breakthrough, dear Lord. Do your will with that war, dear Lord. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Councilman Landry on the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Trahan. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Tommy Pollard. Michael Landry.
Here.
Marcus Broussard.
Here.
Lloyd Brown. Warren Gosherson.
Here.
Natalie Broussard.
Here.
Paul Landry.
Here.
James Trahan.
Here.
Scott Ronsonet.
Here.
Eugene Olivier.
Here.
Brian Napier.
Here.
Lady Brown. Marty Trahan.
Here.
Chad Mathurin.
We have 11 members in the quorum. I'll need a motion to go into public comments.
Move.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Michael Landry. Any discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to number 1, Madam Clerk.
Comments from the general public on non-agenda items.
We did not receive any requests. Number 2, Madam Clerk.
Comments from the general public on agenda items. A, persons being considered for appointment to parish boards or commissions to address the council.
We do have requests at this time to start off on summary number 51 by Mr. Chad Segura to address the council on the reappointment. Mr. Segura, if you can step to the mic, state your name and address for the record, sir.
Good evening, Council. My name is Chad Segura. I live at 7500 Lowerville Road. I am reapplying for the Iberia Parish Regional Planning and Zoning Commission. I've been on it almost 5 years now. It's going to expire in July. So, I worked with the council before I was on the commission. Through the commission, we've come across some issues and worked through them and did what was best for the parish. I found I always appreciated working with all of y'all. Anytime I had a question, y'all's doors were open. I could call. Nobody ever put me on a back burner or didn't answer a question I needed. So I really appreciate that, and I feel the rest of the council feels the same. So, I really appreciate the reappointment for 5 more years.
Are there any questions, members, for Mr. Segura while he's here? Hearing none, Mr. Segura, we appreciate you serving the community.
All right, thank y'all very much.
Next, we have Mr. Tim Boudreau to address agenda item for airport appointment. Mr. Boudreau, if you can state your name and address for the record, sir. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. My name is Tim Boudreau. I live at 222 Glen Eagles Circle in Broussard, Louisiana. I was born and raised here in Yarberry, Louisiana. Raised my family here. Started my air conditioning and heating business here in Yarberry. In 2008, I was instrumental in securing a lease with the airport authority. It took some time. We spent a lot of money. We built a 10-unit T-hangar right across from the airport commission office, right by the control tower, and that's where we house our aircraft. And I still own that. I'm one part owner of that, but I do have ownership in the real estate and a lease with the airport authority. I'm a pilot. I started flying, learned how to fly at Acadiana Regional in 2008. I flew all over the United States, have over 2,400 hours of flying time in a high-performance aircraft with commercial instrument, multi-engine, single-engine rating. Flying to a lot of different airports, you get to see what other communities are doing, and we just have such a great airport. The runway, the facility, the room for expansion, the control tower, the airspace, the instrument approaches. It's just the sky's the limit. And I'm at a point in my life now where I just want to give back to the community and, help if I can. So I'd appreciate anything you can do, and thank you all very much.
Members, do you have any questions for Mr. Boudreau while he's at the mic? Hearing none. Mr. Boudreau, we appreciate your willingness to serve the community.
Thank you.
Next, we have Ms. Gail Boudreau for appointment to the Iberia Parish Airport Authority. Ms. Boudreau, if you can state your full name and address for the record. Welcome.
My name is Gail Broussard Boudreau, and my address is 118 Litmar Street, New Iberia, Louisiana, 70563. I want to thank you for having me here today, and I think probably I have reached a point also where I would like to serve. I've been on a tremendous journey of life. I've done quite a few different things that have just added to my enjoyment and my experience of life. So I kind of like to give back. I used to cover these meetings for Channel 3. I was one of the first women in television, and particularly television news in Acadiana. And of the many stories that I did, the ones that I liked the most pertain to Acadiana Regional Airport. I was really happy to blow New Iberia and Iberia Parish's horn. In fact, a lot of the people at Channel 3 used to tease me, saying that I was trying to make New Iberia the capital of Louisiana. That was fine with me. But anyway, I just think I would like to serve. And the airport is kind of like a child to me, because I felt particularly close at that time. I think I was instrumental in when Carborundum was wanting to come here to Acadiana Regional Airport. I did some investigative reporting and so forth, and I was the only news person that was invited to go to their main plant in South Bend, Indiana, along with just a few others that could fit on that Learjet, which was not very many. And I was very moved by that, and very happy and proud to have been invited. So Acadiana Regional Airport has been part of my heart. It's sky's the limit, so to speak. There's a lot of property available. It's no longer a sleeping giant, but like I said, sky's the limit. And haven't practiced this too much, but I think with that airport, the runway, the 8,002-foot runway, I think here in Acadiana we would call that 2 feet lanyap, 8,002 feet. Also, it's one of only 1 or 2 airports in the lower 48 states that has a seaway, a 5,000-foot seaway. That's a lighted seaway. Also, the concrete runway, instead of 150 feet wide, like many runways are, it's 200 feet wide. So it's a tremendous facility, and I think New Iberia is lucky to have it. I think it's a diamond here, and since have been close to it for many years, I would kind of like to see that diamond shine all the way to heaven. So I just kind of thought I would like to have some input and some to serve. I also noticed that you had an ad for an opening in the one at Sugarina. The airport one is closer to my heart. That one would be a possibility. I haven't looked into it very much, and I don't know a whole lot about what's entailed in that. To tell you a little bit about myself, I was born in a business. My parents had a grocery store. I was kind of a baby in the box on the counter, and many times people wanted to know if I was for sale. Maybe later in life they might have wished they had said once or twice yes. You wanted to buy her, you could take her. But anyway, in addition to that, I at one point in time, I worked at Channel 3 in news, worked at Fox in sales, and I also was spokesperson and news correspondent for Sheriff Romo Romero when he was sheriff. After that, I worked in real estate, and I'm an actress and a member of SAG. And you can't be a member of SAG unless you've done some significant work. I've also done location and casting in this area when people come from other parts of the country and the world to do productions. I've worked with people from Japan, China, California, Florida, New York, Tennessee, and I also do location work, tour guide work of my own. And it pleases me to be able to tell people that are from other parts of the country or other parts of the world about our little corner of heaven here. And I think they enjoy coming here, and I certainly enjoy showcasing our area. I think my ability to work with people and enjoy people, and also the experience that I've had in many different facets of professional places and professional arenas in life, would make me an asset to the board. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to try. And I am here to offer my service. It's the decision is yours. I thank you very much for having me, and I want to tell you, incidentally, you're all doing a great job, and you probably don't hear that very often. You probably just hear the comments that aren't so good. But I kind of know what goes into this because I was covered it pretty close many years ago. And thank you very much for your time and your consideration.
Members, are there any questions for Ms. Boudreaux while she's up here? And Ms. Boudreaux, we appreciate the willingness to serve the community.
Thank you.
Also, let the record reflect that Councilman Pollard is in attendance. Do we have Mr. Joey Duran that is applying for Fire Protection District Number 1? Mr. Kerry Romero, also Fire Protection District 1, to address the council. Hearing no public comments, I'll need a motion to go back into regular session. Have a motion by Councilman Pollard. Second by Councilwoman Broussard. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Reports from finance or administrative actions, Madam Clerk.
Bid tabulation for Acadiana Fairgrounds Commission cold metal formed frame open on March 17th, 2020.
Let the record reflect that we will omit this item. We're moving on to reports from parish or other government agencies. There is none. Public Works reports. There is none. Special business, Madam Clerk.
A public meeting to be held on May 11th, 2022 to adopt ordinances authorizing the levy of various millages for the year 2022.
This is being announced just for publication matters. Moving on to council member announcements. Members, anyone on council member announcements?
Yes.
Strange. Councilmember Napier, welcome.
I'm strange? Well, I have been accused of that, yeah. So I have to apologize to a constituent of mine. I'm just seeing it here. Miss Ellen Mullen tried to get in touch with me today, and I didn't get to talk to her, but from the notes I have right here, she wanted me to announce the books along the Tisch Literary Festival, which will be April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and they will be having a tribute to Dr. Ernest Gaines, and that will take place at the Slyman on Friday, April the 1st, from 10:30 to 11:30. I didn't get to read his bio and all, but he sounds like a great guy, and I just apologize to Miss Ellen for not being able to talk to her today, but just to put it out there and to everyone that the festival is April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Councilman Napier, you finished?
Thank you. Yes, I am. Thank you,
Councilman
Mr.
Napier
Chairman.
yields back. Anyone else, members, on comments? Councilwoman Broussard is recognized.
Yeah, I just wanted to make an announcement for any of the volunteers for CERT or anybody interested in getting involved with CERT. We're having our next meeting on March 29th at the OEP office. We're going to get a tour, and Mr. Prescott Marshall is going to be doing a presentation, kind of explaining what happens in the emergency situations and how the preparation goes and what's all involved. So if you want to get involved in CERT, you can appear at that meeting. Also, save the date for May 7th for the Iberia Mental Health Initiative's 5K race to raise awareness for mental health.
Did you want to repeat the time for CERT for the, I don't think we called it for the record, the meeting?
I believe it's at 6. I'll verify that before we,
Okay. Are you finished, Councilwoman?
yes, I am.
Councilwoman Broussard yields back. Anyone else on comments? Hearing none. I just want to apologize for missing the last meeting. I appreciate the vice chairman stepping up and taking the role. I do also want to thank the community for coming out for my daughter's lemonade stand. I'm anxious to tell you that she did a really good job on, it was cold. I mean, some of them could tell you winds were blowing 20 miles an hour, but we got through it. All the animals survived and left. We were able to raise over 5,000, I think it was, close to 5,100. So it was definitely a successful day, and I just appreciate the community. No matter what we bring in up front, there's always support there, so I appreciate it. Anyone else, Councilwoman?
The CERT meeting is at 5:30.
5:30. Anyone else on council member announcements? Hearing none. Parish President announcements. Parish President Richard.
I'll start off with Public Works report from the last 2 weeks. We did some culvert cleaning in District 3, District 9, and District 12. Debris pickup in District 2, District 9, 10, 11, and 13. Field drainage work in District 5. Road patching work in District 9, 10, and 11. Repaired roads in District 10. Signage work in District 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 14, and shoulder work in District 11. Our litter abatement for March the 12th, we did litter abatement last weekend, we don't have a report for that one yet, but our litter abatement of March 12th, we recovered 115 bags of trash. And that was wood and rugs and tires and all kind of good things along Pellerin Road and in Jeanerette, Monat Road, Admiral, and also Canal Street in Jeanerette. I was invited to attend the Vice President Harris press conference or press relief on broadband infrastructure on day before yesterday. As many of you know, a grant was awarded to the Acadiana Planning Commission in the amount of $30 million from the Federal Department of Commerce, National Telecommunication and Information Administration as part of its $277 million broadband infrastructure program. This will build out fiber internet infrastructure connecting rural Acadiana areas throughout. The plan is for every household in America to be able to access and afford high-speed internet. This is separated into 2 points, 2 parts, but they call it points. Access and affordability, because you need both of them. You need access, but you need to be able to afford it. You need to lay down the fiber, but everyone needs to be able to afford what's going on. So that's what's taking place right now with this $30 million. This is going to be very helpful, especially in rural areas like Iberia Parish, where there's no high-speed internet or terrible connectivity in some areas in Iberia Parish. So this is a very, very big thing to us. If anything else, the pandemic showed the importance of internet when it comes to education, healthcare, business opportunities. This ultimately affects the quality of life of many people in Iberia Parish. The $30 million funds will be used to build high-speed fiber optics internet infrastructure to households in rural Acadiana, whom area does not have the access to reasonable speed internet service. Just so you know, Acadiana is one of the worst internet access. We have one of the worst internet access in the country. Evangeline Parish is the 5th in the United States, and that's fall within our region. So it's a big deal to us. We have a lot of work that need to be done. Y'all are aware that last year the federal government gave $3 million, if I'm not mistaken, to run high-speed internet along Highway 9 coming into Iberia Parish, along Highway 90. So that is in the process right now. Hopefully within the next 6 months from now, we can be talking to y'all about that internet or that fiber being delivered. We have come a long way in Iberia Parish in infrastructure. We have a long way to go. But I'm very proud of everything all of you guys have done and what we're doing in Iberia Parish for infrastructure. And that's not just dealing with broadband. That's dealing with sewer, that's dealing with water. We have a long way to go. And the big thing that we need to talk about now is roads and how we're going to come to afford or come up with dollars to do the road work that we need. We have about $34 million worth of road overlaying that need to be done in Iberia Parish. We're not going to cut it with $300,000 a year. So we have to realize what we have. We have a lot of good things going on. Today I met with Brad from Sewer District. We got a lot of good things we're doing in Iberia Parish for infrastructure. But we have a long way to go, and I'm repeating this a lot. Roads is a big deal to getting us where we need to be, as far as water, and as far as sewer, and as far as broadband. The state and the federal government is putting their share in. We got to do something for us as Iberia Parish to put our share in. And that's it, Mr. Chairman.
I do have a question for you. As far as the broadband situation, the 30 million, how does that affect with the gumbo dollars that's coming from the state?
Totally different.
Are we able to match some of that money, do you know?
No, that's NITA, totally
Okay.
different funds.
Okay.
The broadband is actually being looked into right now, being studied. In fact, today, I was trying to get to Baton Rouge because the governor and the director of the Louisiana broadband had a presentation that they were doing. I didn't get an opportunity to make it because I had to look at some other things that needed to be done in Iberia Parish. The 31st of this month, they should have complete analyzing all of the proposals that was sent to them by many current providers throughout the state, because this is statewide.
Correct.
And providers and people or companies that's hoping to become providers. From Iberia Parish, we probably have 4 or 5 companies that submitted application for us. I feel pretty strong that we're going to get something from this here. In particular, in the Coto area, on this one, because they have another one going to come after. But in the Coto area, the Laurelville area, the rural areas of some areas in Iberia Parish, I feel that, I hope we get something. And if we don't with this one here, we'll have another round with gumbo.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we got the money from the federal government, and you also have the infrastructure dollars. You got a lot of dollars that's going to be spent in infrastructure. And I can tell you, one of the things that's being talked, in particular, the conversations that I've had with Senator Cassidy, they're really pushing Louisiana big time for a lot, not just in broadband, but in water, as well as sewer. In fact, one of the things I talked to Brad, and I'm sure he's here somewhere, I talked to Brad about today, is to come up with a plan for sewer, because we have some dollars in the state of Louisiana that we need to try to tap into.
Correct.
And I'm not talking about just some $3 million and $5 million worth of projects. Like I told his engineer today, come up with your $30 million, your $40 million, but try to break them down. We want $30 million, but $5 million handle this, $7 million handle this. Make it meet up in case you don't get your total $30 million. But while the money is there, we better ask, because I'm telling you, everyone else is. And another thing, Mr. Chairman, that I did is I got with the president of San Martin Parish, because we do not have a grant writer, and we need someone applying for us. So what Chester and myself is trying to do right now is get a grant writer, because we're so similar in a lot of ways, to actually help us look out for grants and write the grants, and we can maybe pay that person. Well, of course, that person would get paid a percentage of, in a lot of cases, of what that grant is. But we have too much opportunity right now that's going on with this federal government, with all the money that's out there, not to try to get some of these dollars.
I guess this is premature, but of the 30 million, did they tell you if there's going to be possible a match that we would have to come up with, or?
Not at all on that.
Match free?
This
That'd
is
be
just
perfect.
dollars that we got from, to the Acadiana Planning Commission.
Okay, good. 'Cause
Um,
I know gumbo, we have to come up.
Gumbo, we certainly,
Yeah.
the gumbo is totally different now. But the gumbo, I think one company submitted an application without us coming up with anything, but the other companies that submitted application, we would come up with a certain dollar amount. So for example, the company would come up with 25%, we would come up with 25%, and the state would pay 50%.
Okay.
But we have to wait to see how all of that's going to work out. That's been a big deal for us, and we're looking forward to getting some fiber, some high-speed internet in Iberia Parish. We need it bad.
Members, is there any questions for the parish president?
I do.
Councilman Napier on the question?
So it's very good to hear about all that, Larry, seriously, infrastructure and all that. I got a question about People's Canal. People's. So 2 years ago, I think we approved that project, and yesterday I had the opportunity to talk to the landowner, and the farmer that's
I did too.
in that. So, from what I heard, there's a few little problems, and I just wish you would
I can explain.
bring
it.
up,
Right.
bring us up to speed and up to date on, you know, where we at with it, why it is every, I mean, why are we, where we at, why we at a stalemate
I'll be more than
on
happy. I'll be more
where
than
we
happy.
going with it?
People's Coulee is the very first water control structure that we got approved from the parish council to install. That probably was close to 2 years ago. I don't have the dates. If you would ask me.
No,
I
me
would
neither,
have.
but
Okay.
it's, I think so.
The very first water structure that we came up with in Iberia Parish ever. So this is the very first one. We went out for bids. We awarded the bids to the lowest bidder, which is Southern. We awarded them the bid. I can't tell you how many months ago it's been, but we certainly awarded them the bid. And if I'm not mistaken, I might have to defer some of this to Andy because an agreement was written, if I'm not mistaken, by us to them for them to sign. I'm not sure. Andy, would you take off? I know the whole deal, but I don't want to mess it up on air.
So you need two agreements. You need one to maintain Peoples Canal, which is separate from the water control structure, and then you need one for that construction project. You need actually two. You need an ingress and egress for your contractor, and you need a lay-down yard for the equipment. And so I have a timeline that I'd be glad to share with you. I would prefer to share it with you individually, but I'll be glad to. We started back in September, working with the landowner and the attorney for the landowner for those agreements. And we finally received one in December. And I actually brought 15 copies of it for you to look at. It was, I think when I pass it around to you and you look at it, you would agree it's not something we would want to sign. So I prepared one myself for both the regular cleaning and clearing as well as the construction contract, and it's in their hands, and let's see where that goes. You have two other projects, which may be easier to get agreements on. So I'm sure that y'all will want to proceed on whichever one gets ready the quickest, and whichever one has agreements that are
So,
fair and equitable to everybody.
yeah, so, look, I don't, look, when we handed it off to y'all,
Yep.
we, as a council, I'm only speaking for myself, for sure. I don't think we've ever heard back. So you not anticipating that every project like this that you having some problems getting, you and the land, your lawyer, his lawyer, having problems with those issues, ingress, egress, lay down yard. I guess a question I have about that is, would that one part of the bid process, Andy, that is the landowner supposed to supply that and he's not supplying it?
No. Let me, I don't know that I would describe it as problem. I would probably describe it as a disagreement over fairness of what would be expected from both sides. I think it'll be worked out.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I guess we should leave it there.
Well,
Okay, look.
The other projects that are currently out there are,
Road air.
Well, we
Rodare.
just
Yeah,
approved the
Rodare.
Rodare,
Yeah,
and,
and it has only one owner in one location. The other one has two different structures, two different owners. They're not as rural, not as far and hard to get to
Yeah.
as the first one would be. So I don't want to say anything discouraging about the ability to get an agreement to do People's School, because they're all three important. They're all three.
Sure.
I mean, we're fortunate enough, they're all three being funded from the states to go make some money.
Correct.
As
Yeah.
opposed to yours, and certainly as they get done, there's a good chance that there might be
Be
more.
more,
states
yeah.
that go make
So
some money.
I guess one of my concerns is that we, are we, letting it
I can,
fester that long? Do we have a chance of it being pulled from us by not? I know from what I heard from the landowner, it actually got started, and it shouldn't have got started without a written agreement or something like that. But, so we don't want to have none of these pulled from us because we're taking too long to move forward.
that's not the.
That's not-
That's
that's
not the
not-
reason.
okay.
I would say this, going forward, I probably wouldn't bid a project without the landowner ahead of time
Agreed.
signing up.
Agreed. Agree.
Which, it's not just these, really, for most projects, that's what we usually require anyway.
Okay.
Uh,
And just, Larry, for you, if you would, just for me, on these projects as they progress, it would be nice to, we get a report every week from you about what you're doing in each district. Such a big project like these,
Give you a little
from
update
time
on-
to
I can.
time, if you would.
I can.
I'd appreciate it.
Not a problem at all. And listen, if I can, are you done, Andy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you.
These projects are very important.
Absolutely.
And the reason we're moving forward with the Rodeo Coulee is because we have additional dollars that's on the table that's coming June and July from CPRA that we're trying to get for next year. Of course, we have gotten, I don't know, close to $14 million seemed like over the last couple of years. So I don't want to stop. I don't want anything to stop. I spoke to the landowner that you're talking about yesterday. He feels just like I feel that, all of this is going to be resolved. But I can't stop. We have too much infrastructure work that need to be done in Iberia Parish. We have too many dollars that's coming from the state and from the federal government, just like this.
Okay.
This is all from the federal government. We can say the state, but when you're talking CPRA, these are dollars that's truly coming to the state from the federal government. And I can't wait on a project to get done. I have 7 structures, I think it's 6 or 7 structures that I'm proposing to get done. I can't wait for one to get done and not start the others. So I think I talked to Paul today, and maybe even Marty today, in reference to the importance of, and Natalie, in reference to the importance of moving on these structures. Yes, there are some legal things that's being discussed right now, and it's been being discussed for several months. But I truly feel that when you're going to read what he just gave you, I think you're going to understand why it's stagnated. But we can't stop. We can't stop and wait. I cannot wait for this to be completely done before we move to the next one. We need to move to the next one now and continue.
Yeah, no, my thing is just that, before we pile them up,
You're not following me.
well,
I get what you're saying.
I'm just saying, before we pile them up, the first one, they still had not a shovel turn yet. So that was just my concern, Larry. I just wanted an update.
Not a problem.
I thank you for it, Andy. Thank you,
Councilman
and
Napier.
hopefully we'll move forward with it.
Finish?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Can we get those copies?
I think he said he'll hand it out after the meeting. Councilman Napier yields back. Anyone else in questions for the parish president during parish president announcements? Hearing none, moving on to consent agenda items for public hearing and adoption. Madam Clerk, starting with summary number 45, introduced by Eugene A. Olivier, District 10.
A resolution of condolences to the family of Mr. Alfred Provost, brother of Clerk of the Council Brenda P. Bergeron, who passed away on March 12, 2022.
Summary number 46, introduced by the Clerk of the Council.
A resolution accepting the resignation of Miss Lisa T. Miguez as a member of the Waterworks District Number 3 Board, effective immediately.
Do you have a motion, to have a motion by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Olivier. Any discussion, members, on the consent agenda items? Is there any request to remove an item from the consent agenda? Hearing none, without a request, without any discussion, I'll ask for a motion, ask for roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to ordinances introduced for public hearing and adoption, there is none. Moving on to resolutions introduced for public hearing and adoption. Summary number 43, introduced by Scott Rossney of District 9. Madam Clerk.
A resolution amending the 2022 General and Road District Number 10 fund budgets in the amount of $102,720 to appropriate funding for repairs to the Vita Shaw Road Bridge, all to be funded from fund balance previous years of said general fund.
Hold on one second. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Note tabled from the March 16th, 2022 Iberia Parish Council
I
meeting.
have a motion by Councilman Rossney and a second by Councilman Trahan, James Trahan. Councilman Rossney on discussion.
It seemed like deja vu, but I'm gonna ask everybody. First of all, I apologize, but if y'all don't mind, I need to table it again, this time indefinitely. We have some problems.
Yeah, you're gonna get that. Just give us one.
There's reasons as far as, I'm gonna just say details without elaborating too much, but, we do have
Councilman
some
Rossney, I'm gonna hold that table
that's
until
fine, that's fine.
we're done on the main motion discussion. Councilman Rossney yields back. Councilman Trahan, James Trahan, discussion?
I waive.
Councilman Trahan waives. All right, members, main motion discussion. Anyone?
Yeah.
Councilman Trahan.
The price, we got this last week, was that for box culverts, or was that for cement piles?
I don't know if maybe Mr. Broussard can help elaborate on that one right there.
We got a price for both options. It was, the concrete piles was $570,000, and the precast, cast-in-place concrete box was $450,000. Is it $450,000? $450,000.
Councilman Trahan, you still have the floor.
Okay. Scott, I'll talk to you after.
Yeah, well, when all this came about, this was late today, I'll say. I figured everybody needs to be in the discussion. I didn't want to throw this on everybody. And we got enough going on with ARPA dollars and whatnot. That gives everybody at least 2 weeks, and we can have discussions about where and when we need to go.
Councilman Trahan, you finished? Councilman Trahan yields back. Councilwoman Broussard is recognized.
Is this bridge partially closed right now?
Yes, ma'am, half of it is. I'll call it the south lane.
Councilwoman, are you finished?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Councilwoman Broussard yields back. Councilman Reshort on discussion. Parish President Reshort on discussion. Well, you hadn't heard that in a while, Mr. Reshort.
I used to be a council member.
Councilman,
Just so you
Parish
know,
President Reshort.
Councilmember Broussard, this particular bridge is not on the off-system bridge program.
Correct.
So that means a lot, just so you know.
Good.
So we get no dollars from the state.
Understand.
Okay.
Are you finished, Mr.
I'm
Reshort?
just being questioned by residents.
Oh, no,
about
and
it,
I'm just
so
saying that so you can tell them that as well.
I'll need the information to answer the questions.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Mr. Reshort yields back. Anyone else on discussion? Hearing none. Now, I had a motion on the floor to lay on the table without a date by Councilman Rossney. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Have a second by Councilman Napier. Is there any discussion on the table? Hearing none. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously. That motion is now tabled without a date. Moving on to summary number 47, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Iberia Parish Airport Authority for the remainder of a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the resignation of Mr. Kevin Romero, whose term expires October 24th, 2024. Appointment applications received from A, Ms. Gail Boudreaux, and B, Mr. Timothy Boudreaux.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion by Councilman Napier. Second by Councilman Michael Landry. Councilman Napier on discussion. Councilman Napier waives. Councilman Landry. Councilman Napier waives. Councilman Landry waives. Any discussion on the main motion, members? Hearing no discussion. Vote by paper, members. Make sure it's your district numbers. Yeah. Are you through voting, members? Did we get Mr. Brown's? Want to make sure, Mr. Brown, we don't want you to have to get up. You through voting, members?
No, which one? They're both.
Okay, members, make sure if you're gonna put Boudreaux, can you please put the first name? Clarify the first name, please.
In trouble, yeah. Way too many trouble. I'll take one.
The clerk will record the roll.
Where's Marty?
You don't have Marty's?
Oh.
Good.
All right.
You name them and you write them?
Which one?
District number 1, Tim Boudreaux. District number 2, Tim Boudreaux. District number 3, Tim Boudreaux. District number 4, Tim Boudreaux. District number 5, Tim Boudreaux. District number 6, Tim Boudreaux. District number 7, is that Mr. Tim? Mr. Tim. Thank you. District number 8, Mr. Tim Boudreaux. District 9, Tim Boudreaux. District 10, Tim Boudreaux. District 11, Tim Boudreaux. District 13, Tim Boudreaux.
13? 12? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We have 12
12.
votes for Mr. Tim Boudreaux, 0 votes for Ms. Gail Boudreaux. Congratulations, Mr. Boudreaux.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Let the record reflect that Councilwoman Brown is here. Moving on to summary number 48, introduced by the Clerk of the Council. Madam Clerk.
Resolution appointing Ms. Gail Boudreaux to the Acadiana Fairgrounds Commission for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term of Ms. Allison Estes, whose term expires June 26, 2022.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Michael Landry. Councilwoman Broussard.
Ms. Gail, I just wanted to let you know I appreciate all of your willingness to serve, and I did feel that Mr. Boudreaux was a better fit for the airport authority, but I knew you were willing to serve and had applied for that one too, and I look forward to you working with the Acadiana Fairgrounds Commission and being more active serving the community, because you have been a huge asset to our community, and I thank you for everything you've done.
The gentlewoman yields back. Councilman, I'm
I
sorry?
would like to comment, even though I'm not a pilot, I did jump out of an airplane.
Ms. Boudreaux, that was in your younger days, correct? The gentlewoman yields back. Councilman Landry on discussion.
I'll waive after that one, I don't.
Councilman Landry yields. Anyone on the discussion on the main motion, members? Hearing no discussion, roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hear no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Ms. Boudreaux. Welcome aboard. Moving on to summary number 49, introduced by the Clerk of the Council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Fire Protection District Number 1 Board for a 4-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term of Mr. Joey Duran, whose term expires June 2nd, 2022. Appointment applications received from A, Mr. Joey Duran, and B, Mr. Kerry Romero.
I have a motion by Councilman
Second.
Paul Landry, second by Councilman Napier. Councilman Landry on discussion.
I'll ask my table since we didn't have either one of them.
A table until the next meeting?
That's fine.
Okay, or is that okay with the second? Is there any discussion on the main motion before we accept the table? Hearing none, members, we do have a motion by Mr. Landry and a second by Mr. Napier to table until the next meeting. Is there any discussion on the table? Hearing none, roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Agenda summary number 49 is tabled until the next meeting. Moving on to summary number 50, introduced by the Clerk of the Council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Fire Protection District Number 1 Board for a 4-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term of Mr. Kerry Romero, whose term expires June 12th, 2022. Appointment applications received from A, Mr. Joey Duran, and B, Mr. Kerry Romero.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion by Councilman Michael Landry,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Broussard. Councilman Landry.
I would like to table this one until next meeting. I think we run
Okay.
the same thing.
We'll hold the table until the main motion is discussed. Second by Councilwoman Broussard. Did you have discussion?
No.
Councilwoman Broussard yields. Is there any discussion on the main motion, members? Hearing none, we do have a motion on the floor to table by Councilman Landry, second by Councilwoman Broussard. Is there any discussion to table until the next meeting? Hearing no discussion, roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 51, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing Mr. Chad Segura to the Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term of Mr. Chad Segura, whose term expires June 27th, 2022.
I had a motion by Councilman Scott Rossini, and a second by Councilman Napier. Councilman Rossini on discussion?
Chad's done a great job the
Killing
time
it.
he's been in there. He's a great asset to the community, and I ask for y'all support for Mr. Segura.
Thank, Mr.
Right down the road,
Councilman,
about 3 miles.
the gentleman yields back.
District
Councilman
nine.
Napier, on discussion?
I gotta follow up with that. Yeah, that's a Lorville man, isn't it? Yeah. Chad, thank you for your service and look forward to another 5 years for you, brother. All right. All right.
Councilman Napier yields back. Any other discussion, members? Hearing none. Chad, we appreciate everything you do. We know the pay's high, but we know you're there for the right reason. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, hear no opposition. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 52, introduced by the parish president. Madam Clerk.
A resolution amending the 2022 parish-wide drainage fund budget in the amount of $260,715 to reflect the carryover of equipment purchases to be funded with the fund balance previous year's $13,230 and lease proceeds $247,485.
Do you have a motion? Have a motion by Councilman Marty Trahan. Second by Councilman Michael Landry. Councilman Trahan, discussion.
Yes, what are we buying? Or what's the,
This is a carryover?
With a dump truck and
Correct.
I'm not certain.
Side boom, I think?
Yeah, it might be a tractor with a.
Yeah, I think so.
are we surplusing what we got in the yard? Okay, all right, thank you.
Councilman Trahan yields back. Councilman Landry on discussion. Councilman Landry waives. Members on the main motion, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 53, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution authorizing the payment of registration for council members of the Iberia Parish Council to attend the 2022 NACO Annual Conference and Exposition to be held in Adams County, Colorado, from July 21st through 24th, 2022, at an estimated cost of $530 per person, all to be funded from the 2022 General Fund Budget Legislative Travel Account, with said total funded not to exceed the remaining funds in said line item.
Do I have a motion? Councilman Olivier on the motion, second by, who was it?
No, you know I didn't.
Second by Councilman Paul Landry. Councilman Olivier on discussion.
I'll wait for now.
Councilman Olivier waives. Councilman Landry on discussion. Councilman Landry waives. Members on the main motion? We do have one. Councilman Napier on discussion.
So I see this is on the agenda. Is anybody interested in going?
Yes.
Can I ask who?
I'll go.
Eugene, Michael,
The
Paul,
Landrys.
the Landry
Separate
boys,
rooms.
all right? Miss Brown, okay.
Okay, so how many is that? Is
So that seems
four?
like 4 that's gone. So,
Let me, Councilman Napier, if you wouldn't mind, can you get clarification from the finance director about how much money is in that general, that line
I
item?
was about to ask that.
Did you know offhand how
Segura?
much is in travel for legislative?
So that's
$3,000?
$3,000, so we're gonna take out 2,000 plus, right?
That's the total budget, that's not what's left, right?
No, that's what's left.
That's what's
That's
left.
what's
Okay,
left.
I'm sorry.
So we're gonna take out, so the balance after that would be less than $1,000? Okay, so, me personally, I'm not gonna, support that. But usually I'm by myself, more or less, but, y'all have fun in Colorado.
Bring some money back.
Yeah,
Okay.
for at least one of these times to bring something back.
Okay, members.
Okay. I'm good, Mr. Chairman. Thank
Councilman
you.
Napier yields back. Anyone else on discussion? Okay, so I do have a discussion. Everybody serious about this? Mr. Landry, you are serious, or this is, okay. So we do have 4 members on the floor right now requesting to go. I just ask if you want my approval, or to support it, please amend the language to read the 4 people. Obviously, not everyone can go if that was the change. So with that being said, we're back to discussion.
I'll make that motion.
Making a motion to amend 4 people for registration, correct? Do I have a second by Councilman Trahan? Any discussion on the substitute motion, members? Mr. Olivier, you said you were going to wait. Is this the time? Okay. Hearing no discussion on the substitute motion, I'll ask for a roll call vote. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Raise your hand, because I know there's going to be a nay vote somewhere. All right. Those opposed? The members opposed? Whoa, okay, we got 2. So all in favor except for Councilman Napier and Councilwoman Broussard. That motion carries. Say like Mr. Napier, bring us back some money, boys and girls. Moving on to summary number 54, introduced by the parish president. Madam Clerk.
A resolution amending various 2022 fund budgets to appropriate funding for increased group health insurance to be funded with ARPA lost revenue funding, general and road district number 10 funds, and fund balance previous years, other funds.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Trahan, Marty Trahan. Councilman Brown in discussion. Councilman Trahan discussion. Members on main motion discussion. Anyone? Hearing none. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
All in favor except for Councilman Napier and Councilwoman Broussard. That motion carries. Moving on to summary number 55, introduced by the Sewer District number 1. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appropriating $469,300 to relocate the UL lift station and add a new force main along Hanger Drive, as requested by Iberia Parish Sewer District number 1, with said funding source to be determined during discussion of this item.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilman Michael Landry, second by Councilman Paul Landry. Councilman Landry on discussion.
I'd like to amend it to use ARPA funding or general fund, but I think this project is well worth it for what it's bringing to this parish and the people it may put to work and the tax dollars.
Good. Councilman Landry, I'll hold that motion to the end. Had a discussion for second by Councilman Landry again.
With Mike.
Councilman Landry waves. Members, any discussion on the main motion? Hearing none. The substitute motion by Councilman Landry and the second by Councilman Landry to amend the language to include the ARPA dollars in the general fund. Is there any discussion on the substitute motion? I do have a discussion by Councilwoman Broussard.
I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I'm going to keep saying it as long as I have to. I think this project is a worthwhile project. I think it's good for Iberia Parish. I think it needs to be done. I am not in favor of spending any more ARPA dollars until we have a master plan of how we're spending all of our money. So I will be voting against it for that reason alone.
Councilwoman Broussard yields back. I do want to give a little time in case Mr. Brad wanted to say anything particular.
Nothing in particular. We've gone over a little bit of the plan of action and long-term plan for the sewer district. This is a really big win if we can move this lift station to Hanger Drive to allow for future businesses to come in at the air base and also alleviate a lot of burden on the system right now. It's something that probably should have been done years prior, but I want to be prepared for the future of Iberia Parish. And by doing this, we can use this as marketing for that area, saying, look, if you bring finances into our parish and you support our parish, we're going to support you.
Mr. Crater, thank you for your leadership. Thank you to your board for their leadership. I mean, that department has come far in between from a red and deficit to now turning a profit and improving the utilities in that district. So I appreciate that. So back to the second, the motion to amend. We did have Ms. Councilwoman Broussard yield back. Is there any other discussion on? Yes, certainly.
Just
Mr.
so
Richard?
you know, Brad is also looking to identify additional projects in sewer. As mentioned earlier, we have a lot of dollars out there from the state and federal government
Good.
that we could be using. So Brad is tasked, and he's doing a good job, he and his engineer, trying to identify opportunities for us to enhance sewer within Iberia Parish.
Good.
Just so you guys know.
Thank you, Mr. Richard.
May I say one more thing, sir?
Certainly.
I would also like to say that I do agree with Ms. Broussard as well. I would love nothing more than the opportunity to sit down with other directors in the parish. I do think we need a united front. Drainage, sewer, water, broadband, but we need to come together and produce the projects together. Expansion works when everything works together. That's how we build the parish out.
And if I can, I'd like to add to you on that as well. I totally agree with you. But I think what we all need to realize what's going on right now is that we have some not definite things that's taking place in the parish. We have, and Kim, when you get a chance, send this to all of the councilmen, the spreadsheet as to what we've done so far with ARPA dollars. The only dollars that we have actually done so far obligate is water, is the $1.6 million for a water project, which wasn't successful. That was going to bring us $6 million worth of water enhancement. The sewer project is $1.3 million, which I think we got
5.72 million.
5.7 for that. The insurance deal that we did, that's all we have. For the most part, those are the projects. So Kim is going to send you guys exactly what you're looking for.
And you
now,
had the
so you
purchase
can
of
see
the
what's-
sheriff's building.
Well, that wasn't done through ARPA.
That
was
still
done
comes
through-
from the 14 million.
No, it doesn't.
13 million.
No.
13 million.
No.
No?
That comes from general fund.
Comes from the lost revenue.
Comes from lost revenues,
Not
which,
quite. Well, I'll explain all of that to you later, but
okay.
anyway, so you're exactly correct. But I don't know how much money we're gonna be spending yet on broadband. That could be $2 million. It could be $2.5 million. So we have to see what's gonna start coming in from what you talked about earlier. Warren, I don't know what our cost is gonna be. And that's just the first round. And then you're gonna go to the NITA funds for broadband. Remember, these dollars are for primarily water, sewer, broadband. Yes, you can use it for additional things, and you can. But in Iberia Parish, I want to make sure that we are using it or trying to at least put it on the table to use it for those things. And I'm going to tell you right now, when we finish all of this, my deal is going to try to do is going to be to look into doing some roads. So we all going to have a conversation, and we're going to do that, and I agree. But right now, I'm looking at water, sewer, and broadband.
Got it. Thank you, Mr. Richard.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Crater, were you finished?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being here. All right, so back to the substitute motion by Councilman Landry and second by Councilman Paul Landry. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, roll call members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Let the record reflect that all are in favor except for Councilwoman Broussard. That motion carries. Moving on to summary number 56, introduced by the parish president. Madam Clerk.
A resolution requesting the Louisiana Department of Transportation to inspect the synchronization of the traffic light at the intersection of Louisiana Highway 182 and Nelson Canal Road.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilman Michael Landry. Second by Councilman Olivier. Councilman Landry in discussion.
Larry, what's the synchronization? Because I don't think nobody can answer that question.
You want to synchronize what is basically dealing with the turning and things of that nature. When you want to synchronize
The time frame of it?
what's happening right now is, my understanding is that people can actually, for example, if you're coming down Nelson, is Darnell Road?
Nelson Canal.
When you're coming down Nelson Canal and you want to make a turn, the light just don't change. So you got to get with DOTD for DOTD to come take a look at it and see what's going on. And they would synchronize the lights. They synchronize the signals.
Okay.
Councilman Landry yields back. Councilman Olivier on discussion. Councilman Olivier waves. Members, main motion discussion. Hearing none, roll call. All those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to ordinances introduced for publication. This is just for publication. Madam Clerk, for reading of the for publication. Summary number 5182, introduced by Marcus Bruce Broussard of District 3. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to amend and reenact portions of the compiled ordinances of Iberia Parish, Louisiana, relating to permits for the construction and placement of telecommunication towers and other similar structures, to provide minimum standards for the placement of such structures, to provide the payment of fees in connection with permit applications, to provide penalties for violations of said ordinances, to provide for the effective date thereof, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Moving on to summary number 5183, introduced by the Clerk of the Council. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 1 of the Iberia Parish Government Code of Ordinances to include the creation of precincts for voter convenience.
Moving on to summary number 5184, introduced by Natalie Broussard of District 6. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 5 of the compiled ordinances of Iberia Parish, Louisiana, to provide amendments to the entire chapter.
Moving on to summary number 5185, introduced by the Parish President. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance amending Chapter 6 of the compiled ordinances of Iberia Parish, Louisiana, to revise the fee schedule for the issuance of building, plumbing, electrical, and AC heating permits.
I'll need a motion to adjourn. I have a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Napier. Any discussion, members? Hearing none. Roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. We're now adjourned.